All right, let's just get right into it. You know that old playbook for money we were all taught? The one that says, go to school, snag a good job, climb that ladder, and you'll be set for life. Well, it turns out that whole blueprint is, well, it's kind of broken. One former investment banker realized this the hard way when her own mentor got laid off, just like that, overnight. The idea that one single job can guarantee your financial security, yeah, that's pretty much a myth these days.
And that quote, man, it just hits the nail on the head. When you're relying completely on one paycheck from one employer, you're not really in the driver's seat of your own life. Realizing that is the first step. It's what kicks off this whole journey from feeling financially trapped to actually taking back control. But to do that, we have to get real about why we stay stuck in the first place.
So let's talk about that feeling, the modern money trap. It's super common to feel like you're just stuck financially. But what's really fascinating is that a lot of the time, we make it worse ourselves because of this weird psychological quirk that stops us from even looking at the problem head on. And it has a name. It's called the ostrich effect. You know that feeling after a big night out when you kind of don't want to check your bank account? Or when that pile of bills just sits there on the counter unopened? That's the ostrich effect in action. We literally avoid looking at the numbers because we're afraid of how bad it's going to make us feel. But here's the crazy part. That avoidance, that's the very thing that keeps us trapped. Okay, so if sticking our heads in the sand is the trap, then pulling them out and facing the numbers is the escape plan. And it all starts with building a solid foundation, what we're going to call a financial fortress, something that can actually handle the shocks life throws at you. And listen, this isn't just some abstract idea. The need for this is, well, it's urgent. Just look at this number. A whopping 59% of Americans can't cover a surprise $1,000 expense. Think about that. This isn't a small problem for a few people. It's a massive, widespread state of financial fragility. And that's exactly why these first steps aren't about getting rich quick. They're about getting secure. And the key here is to follow these 3 steps in this exact order. Seriously, the order is non-negotiable. First up, you create a $1,000 peace of mind fund. This isn't really about the math. It's about the psychology. It gives you a small cushion for things like a flat tire or a broken appliance, so you don't have to panic. Second, you attack any high-interest debt. We're talking anything over 8%. This is like having a leak in a bucket. You have to plug the holes before you can even think about filling it up. And third, once the debt is gone, you build a 3 to 6 month emergency buffer. This is for your core living costs, and it's your shield against the big stuff, like a job loss. All right, so once that fortress is built, once you've got that solid ground beneath your feet, now we get to the exciting part. It's time to build the engine. The engine that's going to create long-term wealth. It's time to talk about investing. But hold on a second. A lot of us grew up with the idea that you just save for retirement, right? You put money in a savings account and just let it pile up. So, is that really enough anymore? Can you actually just save your way to financial freedom? Yeah, the short answer to that is a big, fat no. Here's why. With inflation, the cost of everything is always going up. It's like this silent thief that's constantly eating away at the value of your cash. So just saving is actually a losing game over the long run. Your money has to be working for you, growing faster than the cost of living. Investing isn't a luxury for the wealthy anymore. It's an absolute necessity for everyone. So when it comes to investing, you've generally got 2 main paths. The first is through your job with an employer-sponsored plan. The big win here is that you often contribute with pre-tax money, and a lot of companies will even match what you put in. That's literally free money. The other main route is an individual account, like a Roth IRA or an ISA. With these, you put in money that's already been taxed, but, and this is huge, all of the growth and all of your withdrawals when you retire are completely tax-free. That's a massive advantage down the road. So what's the secret sauce here? How do you actually succeed at this? Well, you're going to love this. It's probably the weirdest but also the best piece of financial advice you'll ever hear. A famous study by Fidelity went looking for their best performing investors. And you know who they were? Dead people. I'm not kidding. Why? Because they set up their investments and then they never touched them again. They didn't panic sell or try to time the market. And you know who the second best performers were? People who forgot they even had the accounts. The lesson is crystal clear. Take your emotions out of it, play the long game, and just let your money do its thing. Okay, so building wealth isn't just about playing offense, making all these smart moves. You also have to play defense. It's about avoiding the big mistakes, the wealth destroyers that can totally wreck all your progress. Let's look at a real-world example of what's called opportunity cost.
Picture this. It's 2017, and someone puts a £50,000 deposit on a flat in London. Fast forward to today, and the value of that property has gone up by about 10%. Not bad, right? But what if they had taken that same 50 grand and just put it into a simple S&P 500 index fund instead? Well, that money would have more than doubled. This just goes to show you that the old rulebook, the one that says a house is always your best investment, just isn't always true anymore.
Okay, so we've talked about mindset, the fortress, the investing engine, avoiding mistakes, but how do you actually manage all of this month to month? Let's boil it all down into one simple, actionable new rulebook you can start using today. It's super simple. It's called the 65-20-15 rule, and it's all about what you do with your take-home pay each month. 65% goes to your core living expenses, the essentials like your rent, bills, and groceries. 20% is for guilt-free fun spending. This is crucial. It's for living your life right now. And that final, most important 15%, that's for future you. This is what you use for savings, investments, and smashing any extra debt. It's a dead simple framework that makes sure you're enjoying today while also building for tomorrow. When you really get down to it, all of this is about a fundamental shift in how you see money. It's not just a number on a screen. It's a tool. It's the raw material that you have to build the life you actually want to live. So the final question you've got to ask yourself is this: what kind of life are you building with it?